Let's try it again. I'm trying to make a video for the new year with this new channel talking about color personalities and the four colors. You're dealing with the reds, the greens, the blues, and the yellows. This is just my theory. I've been working on this theory for a while by interviewing people when I drive with Uber and Lyft, when I go out into the public, when I do my business, even at my state jobs, I did the colors. Got in trouble over there. A lot of people don't like it. The biggest problem, I guess, when you're talking about color personalities is a lot of people want to talk about race. I got into an argument with a man yesterday. He invited me to his home to do some cleaning. And hold on. There you go. So if we go back yesterday, what happened was he invited me into his home to do an estimate for his cleaning, and less than 5 minutes in the conversation, he brought up racism, prejudice, and that he's a black African older man in his 80s, and that all human beings came from Africa, and that my business partner is Indian, and that Indians don't get along with blacks, and there's a big prejudice and racism about it. And I just told him, well, just leave that out the door and let me talk to you about personality colors, and you'll understand, if I can explain it to you, that each color personality, they think different, they act different, and if you understand the basics of it, it can help you understand people. But like I told this guy, it's not how you start a conversation. And I got into it with him, just start talking about what I thought what was going on with this conversation that was wrong. But I try to find out a little bit about him. And the main thing I try to tell people is, when you understand the personalities, the reds are very dominant. They can come off strong. I consider myself a red personality. We are very calm under stress when things go down, that your average personality would run from, or they'd be very stressed out, or they would just, like a green personality, they're going to go quiet. The green personality, what makes them different from everybody else is they're very quiet people, very analytical. What my theory is that they don't have any tattoos. There's no piercings. Their hair is not going to be dyed or any crazy haircut or hair color. The yellows are very lovable, very, I call them, they just love to hug. They're very huggable people, very caring, very nice, very loving people. But my big thing that I try to share with people is that there's the blue personality. The blue personality, what makes them different is they change. They can be blue-red, they can be blue-green, they can be blue-blue or blue-yellow. But they change. Their personality, what's their weakness and their strengths is that they have to eat, they have to sleep, and they cannot be stressed out. You talk to any blue personality, they'll normally relate to that. But their thing is they're very creative. They're normally in the music. They can do sports. They normally are good managers. They can talk to people in different ways that they can adapt. For me, as a red personality, I consider myself, it's hard for me to adapt to others. I try my best, but sometimes it just doesn't come out that way. The greens are very quiet, analytical. If it doesn't make sense, they're not going to be doing it. And they're not going to be gambling and at the casinos tonight. So what I like to share with people is that each personality, if you understand it, I'll talk more in depth. But I believe I have it down. I just talked to this young man right now, picked him up, and we were driving from Wheatland to Stockton. And when we were doing this ride, it was about a 15-minute, almost an hour drive. And again, I didn't know him, but he just told me he just won a big jackpot at the casino. And I told him I'd like to just talk to him about the color personalities and, introduce myself. And I wanted him to know that I drive a Tesla with full self-driving. So the car is going to be driving full self-driving the whole way. And then the last, we just got to learn each other and learn a little bit more about what's going on in each other's lives. And so as we were driving, I introduced myself, told him about the four colors. I told him I thought he was a blue-red, personality. I didn't think he was green. The green personality, when you meet them, this is what happens when you get in the car with them or when you drive with them. They're very quiet people. They normally will be on their phones, but they're not going to engage. They're not going to be confrontational. It's just not their thing. They're very good people to have when in the car because they're very quiet. I have tinnitus. I'm not sure if you know what tinnitus is, but it's a ringing in the ears constantly. And one of the biggest problems I have with tinnitus is just dealing with my ears. And it's pretty painful. It's pretty just irritating. It's just drives me nuts. Like as I'm talking right now, I would say it's a 10 out of 10. It's a 10 right now. It's just like loud cicadas in a field that's in my ears, in my head, from morning till nighttime. I have no control over it, so when I meet people, I introduce myself. I tell them about the color personalities. I tell them about I have tinnitus. I'm a red personality, and if you want to be safe, you want to make this ride a good, safe ride, just follow my rules and don't touch me, and we should have no problem. And we ended up getting to this place. Everything was good until we pulled up. And when I pulled up, I couldn't believe the location where it was at. It was just, I thought maybe I was in the wrong area. It was homeless people everywhere. And then he said it was a homeless shelter. And I was shocked because he said he just won $1,800 and drove an hour from Stockton to Hard Rock and then won a jackpot and was now going back to his homeless shelter. And then he was telling me about his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, that they broke up, and that by them breaking up, he became homeless. And now he's living in a shelter. It was pretty sad. But like I told him, understand the personality. I think he can make a better choice. He was on an online dating, some kind of app. We were streaming. He was streaming this whole conversation that we were doing. But what I told him was the main thing is to find a personality that you want to be with or have a girlfriend or boyfriend with. You need to make sure their personalities match. You really need to understand what's going on in their lives. If you get a chance to try to meet their mom and dad and their grandparents and understand, you'll understand the personality and understand them, I think, a lot more if it's even possible. But the main thing I could try to tell people is not even to guess, is just to make sure that you do know what the personality is and to make sure that you're in the right mood and in the right situation where these personalities can clash and they don't always get along. And so me as a driver, as Uber and Lyft, I was just telling about what happened to me last week with the blowout tire, and I had these 3 crazy black women in my car. The first girl was a blue-red, the girl right behind me was a blue-green, and then I had the other girl, I think she was probably a blue-yellow. But when we had a blowout tire and we thought we were going to crash, we pulled over, thank God everything was fine. But the next 5 to 10 minutes, I mean, these girls lost it. They were screaming and yelling. I had to call 911, and like I told this guy, anybody else, I mean, I think any other driver probably would have got deported or would have gone to jail. It was pretty bad. I had to stay calm. I had to dispatch a CHP officer to come pick up these 3 ladies to drop them off at the next exit. Even for the officer was shocked on how these women were acting. They were drunk and they were stressed out. And they had the right to be stressed out because we were stuck on the highway and it was dangerous. So main thing is to understand these personalities and understand that when you get in these situations, if you work their personalities correctly and you do everything right, you might be able to save your life or save yourself and get yourself in a situation that could get even worse. I felt like I was trapped in an elevator with some women that were just crazy, and they had the right to be crazy, but if I could, I would not got on the elevator and would have let them, but I got on, picked them up, and ended up getting the situation resolved by the CHP officer. I thank him for helping me. It could have got worse. So this is my video. I'm going to be making these videos and see how it looks and try to do this on the software that we're using. Thank you.